seated right in the studios here. I am talking about a women rights activist, human and women rights activist, Citizen Lola Way. Madam, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Having me. Thank you.
Yes, by nature, a woman is aggressive. By nature, a woman is saucy. And anything that gets on their nerve, a woman will spark off. Let us take a look at this. Violence against women can be self-inflicted by way of the nature of a woman. Don't you agree with this?
I disagree completely. Because God, who created us male and female in his image. The only difference between a man and a woman that I know of, that science has proven to me, are nothing but our reproductive organs. Those are the only differences between a man and a woman. Every other thing is the same. It's the same brain, the same blood, the same water, the same number of bones, muscle, and others. Every other thing depends on training, socialization, how we are socialized.
Upbringing.
Yes, upbringing. And that's why I always emphasize the importance of parenting in the fight against gender-based violence. When bringing up our children, we must bring up our boys and girls equally. Give them equal opportunities to aspire to reach the peak of their ability. You must not limit any of them by reason of their sex. It has nothing to do with their ability. Some men are strong physically. Some women are strong physically. Some men are weak physically. Some women are weak physically. So I do not subscribe to the school of thought that women are saucy, are aggressive. No. Women will be what we make them to be.
How will you describe a woman?
A woman is beautiful, is loving, is caring, is hardworking, is intelligent, is diligent, has all the virtues of God Almighty.
Very productive.
Very productive. All the virtues you find in God are what you find in a woman.
Yes, concerning, we've been having so many gender-based violence in Nigeria, especially on the part of the women. And in recent times, we've been having a lot of them coming on air through social media and some other means to get to the society by seeking for help. Do we have a statistics of women that are being affected by this violence in Nigeria?
We do, but I will not say that that statistics is correct.
Okay.
Because of the culture of silence.
Okay.
Because in this part of the world, we still believe that some people still regard gender-based violence as trivial issues that can be handled at the family level or at the level of the security outfits to which the case is reported. But it isn't a trivial issue. It is a crime against the society. And that was why in Osun State in 2021, the immediate past governor of Osun State passed into law the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, prohibiting all forms of violence against persons, including men and women and children. It also passed into law in 2020, the Child Rights Law, protecting the rights of all children, because we also violate their rights, we inflict violence on them. ignorantly. But ignorant of the law is no excuse. And that is why we're using this opportunities to sensitize members of the society to know what the law says, to know so that they will not violate the law. And there will be no need for traditional rulers, for religious leaders, for highly placed society members to coming, begging after the crime has been committed. Prevention to me is better than cure. So,
do we have some other forms of abuse?
So many. I'm going to. I want to also mention another law.
Let's have the abuses.
Yes.
Okay. There's the physical abuse. There's the verbal abuse. There's the harmful traditional practices. There are abuses when you mutilate the genitals of a girl. You are abusing her. You are violating her rights as a human being, because that can cause her a lifelong trauma.
What about institution of tribal marriage? It's not part of it.
I will not say it's part of it, because that is being done on, and then that practice is outdated. It has already been eradicated.
And it's been inflicted on both sexes.
Both sex, yes. That was what I was going to say. That it's not limited to just the female
Maybe
gender.
people of Edward, but go to
no, we don't.
No, in Origo, we are highly responsible people. We are highly enlightened.
Yes.
So we know that tribal marks is not the way to go in this 21st century.
Can you say tribal marks?
Okay.
And then we have the psychological abuse.
Yes.
We have economic abuse. We have
discrimination.
Yes. And then there are cases where husbands abandon their wives and children, especially in Islam. When a man takes a new wife, he abandons the older one and sometimes even asks her to move out with her children. That wasn't the reason why polygamy, the opportunity, the right to marry up to 4 women was given under Islam. That's part of the Quran in chapter 3 verse 4 says that, no, chapter 4 verse 3 says that, states that in Arabian land, as at the time of our of the prophets, the holy prophets, there were all sorts of practices. Polygamy was rampant. Men married as many women as they wanted. Women also slept with as many men as they wanted. Polyandry was also rampant. So when Islam came, it came to correct all those limitations in the society. And then, because to correct that, God said, okay. And then there were women who became widows because their husbands became martyrs of the war that was fought as at that time. Their children became orphans. And then God said, if you cannot, if you have pity on these women, you can marry up to 4 of them, provided you will be just to the 4 of them. Whatever you do to A, you do for B, C, and D. But that is no longer the practice. Now, it was not to encourage to encourage men to move like butterflies from one beautiful woman to the other, because it's butterflies that jump from one beautiful flower to the other
to suck nectar.
But to solve a societal problem that existed then. But now that part of the Quran is not being used to create and perpetrate evil against women. And that's why some men do not know that it's a serious crime to abandon their wives and children just because they have married another one. There's under the under the VAP law, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, there is provision for it. Do not abandon your spouse and children. The punishment for it is 3 years in prison, and you pay 500,000 fine. It is not all. It is not an option. And In addition to 3 years imprisonment, the man will pay 500,000 as fine if he abandons his wife and children. So men who are in the habit of abandoning their wives and children should please take note, because this is hurting the society. We have too many children on the streets as a result of abandonment and negligence by their father. When the father abandons the wife and children, he exposes her to all forms of danger and behavior. And that's why we find so many wayward women and children on the streets today. And if we want to put an end to that, if we want to put an end to insecurity in our society, we must tackle it from the root. And the root is to ensure that we do not have more children on the street. Children should not be abandoned. Give birth to only the number of children that you can adequately take care of.
Yes, let me add this before I forget. If you go to our courts today, you see that the prevalent cases are that of divorce between married couples. And most of the time, it's the woman that is calling for divorce because somebody is already waiting to marry her. And when that happens, the children will be vulnerable. They become vulnerable because of the fact that the man will believe that once you are able to come up with a divorce case, then you should be able to take care of your children. And in most cases, it shouldn't. In fact, it should not be like that. What shall we do to ensure that marriage between men and women lasts and enduring, so that our children will enjoy life as they are supposed to be?
In fact, that is what I was talking about when I talked about parenting. When you are parenting your children, you raise the boys and girls to know that there is a need for us to not only train the girl child that this is how to sit, this is how to behave when you get to your husband's house. No, we must, as we are training the girl child to know how to sit, we must also train the boy child to know how to zip up until the last day, until he says, yes, I do. Until he puts the ring on the woman's finger, he should zip up. He should keep his zipper up. And then we should train our boys and girls how to perform domestic, to carry out house calls at home. Because those are the things that usually cause disaffection between husband and wife. If boys and girls know that the house calls are not meant for girls alone, then we wouldn't have crisis in our homes that we necessitate women seeking for divorce when they are faced with violence. And violence, like I said, are many. The man may decide to deny her. A man who says the wife should not work, we now deny the woman feeding allowance just because there's a disagreement over nothing. The man must also know that in the society that we live now, a man cannot do it alone. The purpose for which God created the woman and man is that they complement each other. Where the man is weak and the woman is strong, the woman should cover up for the man. Where the woman is weak and the man is strong, the man should cover up for the woman. And then another problem that we do encounter in today's society is that, in the contemporary society of today, is that we always prepare for a wedding. We do not prepare for marriage. It's only preparations usually for the wedding day. And that's when we spend millions of naira to prepare for just one day. And we do not take time to prepare for the other years
that they will spend together. And then there's also a need for the husband and wife to marry for the right reasons.
Don't marry because the woman is beautiful. The woman that is beautiful today may become ugly tomorrow if by accident she has an accident, she's involved in an accident that deforms her or him. He or she will now live with disability, which that person may now see as a reason to stay away from the spouse.
What you are saying, men and our men and women should marry right.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
What are the rights?
That's I'm going to that. That's what I'm saying. Marry for the right reasons. Marry the person that you love. Marry the person that you are ready to live with for the rest of your life. Marry the person that you feel and you believe loves you. Look at, there are red flags in relationship. When you are courting, there are red flags that both boys and girls see but ignore for other reasons that will not be helpful in marriage. Look out for those red flags. Can you cope? I will advise, once you see those red flags, take a flight, move away before you get married. Because once you get married, it is not easy to get out. Especially when you get married legally. It takes a long process. Although you can separate, but we are not asking for separation, because separating will be exposing the children to unnecessary danger. The father will be cutting their favor, the mother will be cutting their favor, and then they will not be raised correctly.
Yes, thank you very much, madam. We now get to, let's now go to the homes where disagreements are rife. For example, I told you the other time the nature of a woman. Then men too can be so bossy. Men too can be so overbearing, arrogant, and most of the time want to flex muscle. And just as you said, that weddings are prepared for so flamboyantly, marriage as they are not prepared for as normally as they should be. Preparing for wedding is different from preparing for marriage. Now, marriage agreements and sticking to the principles taught during counseling. How do you think this will contribute to the success of marriage and a way of eradicating violence at home?
I think that counseling should start from childhood. The way we raise our children, usually we raise our boy child to believe that he's there to take decision, he's there to take charge, and then we raise the girl child that you are there to just take care. And your own is to provide care.
And to take orders from the men.
And to take orders from the men. No. The girls should be raised in such a way that they have self-esteem. And they will know that they have a role to play in the family. And unfortunately, in this part of the world, we name all our girl children Kekeke, Funke, Ronke, Arake, Abake, Ajike, making them to believe Labake, making them to believe that they are soft and they are just to be taken care of. And that they don't have any reason to aspire to be something in life.
Because of their cares.
Yes. Whereas we raise our boys to believe that they are kings, they are the Sheguns, they are the Olus, they are to take charge. They are providers. They are not receivers. The girls are the receivers. They keep receiving. No. The girl child has a role to play in the society. The girl child has a role to play in nation building. So we must raise them to believe that they have come to play a part. Not just to be seen as a piece of decoration. Not to be used as an item of advertisement. Because most times when you see our adverts, it's They believe that they can't advertise a product without a naked woman. That is insulting. It is violence against women.
But they subscribe to it. If they are not interested in it, they won't have done, maybe because of the financial attraction.
It is the way that the society socialized us then, and this must change. There was a time the birth of twins was not greeted with pomp and
pageantry.
But now that has changed. Now the birth of twins are celebrated.
Yes.
In the past, they used to be.
Births are now
in the course of answering our questions, ma, you made mention of the fact that girls and boys should be raised equally.
Yes.
Are you advocating equality between the husband and the wife?
What I'm advocating
in a marriage?
What I'm advocating for is gender equality, equal opportunities for men and women.
We are talking in the marriage now. In the marriage
yes. That's what I'm saying. For the man to be fulfilled. If a man, like in some organizations, they do not allow husband and wives to work in some organizations.
Yes.
They will ask a party, one of them to leave.
Yes.
It is the best should remain, while the one that is not so good can leave. It doesn't have to be that the woman must always leave for the man when the woman has a better chance of rising in a career in that organization. So those are the things I'm talking about. And then if a woman has potential in politics, she should not be hindered by her husband and the society from rising to the peak of her political career, as is always the case here in Nigeria, where we have very few women in political offices. Women should be allowed to play a vital role in the society, in nation building.
Yes, madam, before you go on, let me add this one. In politics, there are more women than men. And when it comes to appointment, men get the lion's share. And women will always be complacent. They will accept it as their lot. But with what you are saying now, and with the 35% affirmative action, which has never been actualized in Nigeria. The agitation started during the tenure of President Goodluck Jonathan when President Jonathan went to the National Assembly to converse for this. And the successor too carried on. But women have always been playing lip service to this.
What I've said that we have fewer women than men in political offices for reasons beyond their control. I will start by making this illustration. They say those who will judge us by the heights we are achieved, we do well to judge us from the depth from which we began. We are advocating now for equal opportunities to be given to the girl child as that which is given to the boy child. Because in the past, efforts are usually concentrated on the boy child going to school. And then in our tradition and custom, we also believe that girls do not inherit their parents because they will go to their husband's house. We believe if we give them a share of the inheritance, she will carry the wealth to her husband's house. Whereas in the husband's house, she's discriminated against as well. They tell her, go to your husband's house. It happened recently to the wife of the governor of Ondo State, when she wanted to, when she aspired to contest for
Senatorial state.
In her home state, in Imo State, she was not allowed. She was told to go to Ondo State. And in Ondo State, who is going to recognize her? Who is going to give her that opportunity? So these are the factors militating against women.
There is a state governor in the...
And then in addition to that, is the issue of violence.
Yes.
Our political system is too violent. And women by nature, we are not violent, we are not the aggressive ones. We were never raised to be aggressive. So, and we abhor every form of violence.
That's on paper.
Also, meetings are usually scheduled for midnight when a woman is expected to be taking care of her family. And then another point is the fact that the huge amount of money that is usually required to buy nomination forms or interest forms is huge. And we already said that women have been disadvantaged right from childhood. Low education, low access to finance, no inheritance rights. All these are just being corrected.
But in the situation where we are asking for equal opportunity for men and women, then they should be able to pay equal fees for nomination forms.
That is why we're saying, give us the equal opportunity to go to school as you give to men. Eliminate violence in politics. You can see it. Eliminate all forms of violence in politics. It's a crime.
Yes, before you go on,
that is punishable by 4 years imprisonment or 500,000 fine.
Yes, only yesterday, the wife of Ekiti State Governor, Mrs. Olayemi Oyebanji, came up with a suggestion. In fact, she is so serious about it, calling on her husband to establish a court, special court,
as we have in Lagos State,
to treat violence against women.
Yes, it's already in existence in Lagos State, and that's why.
How will you describe that? There's a governor in the east. I've forgotten the name of the governor, who has just signed a bill, who has just sent a bill to the House of Assembly for women to be able to inherit from their fathers. Yes, to give women right of inheritance. Yes. Let's look at this.
Governor Ipiasu.
Yes, Ipiasu. Yes. Let's take these two together. Don't you see emancipation of women on the way?
No, the two developments are welcome. And then we already have in existence in Lagos State special courts for gender violence cases. Yes. And then I also advocate for same thing in Osun State. Because when we take cases of gender-based violence to the regular courts, it takes time before the cases are attended to. And by so doing, the survivors always get frustrated and discouraged from seeing the cases to the end. But when we have specialized courts, those judges that we occupy, that we serve in those courts, will be professionals in that field. They will be specialists in that field, and they will be able to dispense the judgments quickly in such a way that the survivors would not have become frustrated. I remember there was a case I was pursuing in 2020. At a time, we became frustrated and we stopped pursuing the case. And when you no longer go to court, the case will be thrown off. And that is why cases of gender-based violence has continued to increase in Osun instead of reducing, despite the existence of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law. Because the existence of a law is not enough if it is not implemented to the letter, and if the case is not followed to a logical conclusion. So it's a good development that we're having a specialized court in Ekiti State. I believe and know that same thing will happen in Osun State very soon. And they're talking about the right of inheritance.
Okay, yeah, because of
what are the signs of abuse? apart from physical abuse.
Our people are waiting.
Yes.
A woman who is going through abuse may become depressed, may become withdrawn, may become hyperactive.
Okay, aggressive.
Yes. And then sleeping disorder, eating disorder, and then the person you will see will start displaying all sorts of behavior that will show that the person
antisocial
behaviors that will show that she's going through something. When you see somebody like that, there's a need to move close to the person and be a good sister, a good brother to such a person.
How can we detect that in a younger child, in a younger female child?
A younger female child will become withdrawn. The academic performance will become poor. A child that was hitherto very brilliant,
very smart,
and then
vibrant
will become sluggish, will become withdrawn, will become dull, because there are things troubling the heart of such a child. And then the child may also become disinterested in activities that was initially of interest to such a child. The child may also display some fear when about the time that she usually experienced the kind of abuse, and may also express fear when the abuser is around.
ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa láti bí ìṣẹ́jú díẹ̀ láti sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú arábìnrin lọ́láwé ohun tá a sì sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ni ìwà ipá sáwọn obìnrin léyìí tí ó ti gògò láwùjọ yìí. Mo mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa ó fẹ́ gbọ́ gbogbo tá a ti sọ lédè ìbò ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́ lédè Yorùbá òun la ṣe ní iṣẹ́ àtúngbà ọ̀nà ti Yorùbá lọ́pọ̀ tẹ̀jẹ́ pásítọ̀ péréte la ní àti gba gbogbo àsìkò nípa fífẹ́ ìbò. Tí a bá wo àwùjọ yìí wíwu ìwà ipá sáwọn obìnrin ó wọ́pọ̀ gan. Tá a bá sì délé ẹjọ́ náà àwọn oríṣiríṣi ọ̀rọ̀ tó dàbí eléyìí bíi kọ́kọ́ náà ìyàwó rẹ̀ bíi kí wọ́n fipá bóbìnrin lò pọ̀ bíi gbogbo ẹ̀ ló kúnlé ẹjọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n láìpẹ́ yìí aya gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ti sọ pé ó yẹ kí irú ilé ẹjọ́ tí yóò máa gbọ́ irú ẹjọ́ yìí nìkan ṣoṣo kó dá wà kí ìjọba ó ṣe fọwọ́ sí i láti rò pé yóò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ láìpẹ́. Ṣùgbọ́n kó tó dìgbà náà kí ni àwọn nǹkan tí ó ń fa irú àwọn ìwà ipá báyìí sáwọn obìnrin? Torí tá a bá wo àwọn obìnrin náà lọ́mìí ẹnu obìnrin rọ̀ wọ́n gbogbo ìgbà ni obìnrin máa ń sáfẹ́ kí gbogbo nǹkan ó jẹ́ tàwọn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ àti bí wọ́n ti fẹ́ dúró nífẹ̀ẹ́ gbẹ́pẹ̀gbẹ́ pẹ̀lú ọkọ Bíbélì àti Kùránì sì lọ́kọ lórí aya. Bóbìnrin ti wá rúfin tí ibo lóbìnrin ti wá rúfin tí wọ́n fi fẹ́ sọ pé àwọn àtọkọ àwọn nǹkan kan náà ni wọ́n nígbà tí Bíbélì àti Kùránì sọ.
àwọn ọmọdé tó lóbìnrin yàtọ̀ sí obìnrin tó ti bàlágà.
Àwọn ọmọdé obìnrin náà tá a bá wò ó fífi ipá bá wọn lò pọ̀ kún yàtọ̀ sí yẹn àwọn ọmọ míì wà tó jẹ́ pé tí wọ́n wá sí ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa kan tó jẹ́ pé ìlòkulò ni wọ́n máa lò wọ́n tó jẹ́ pé lílò yẹn yóò kọjá ìlò pé èmi kọ́ ìlò èmi kọ́ mo bí ni wọ́n mọ̀ lò wọ́n. Ọkọ ìyàwó mi ìjọ mi tó bá ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ ìyàwó rẹ̀ tí àwọn bá ti jáde báyìí yóò kì mọ́lẹ̀ yóò fi gbogbo
àbúrò ìyàwó náà ń kọ́
àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bó la ń lọ pẹ̀lú irú àwọn ìwà báyìí.
Àwọn ìwà tí kò dáa ni láwùjọ wa ó ní àjọ àgbáyé ṣe ya ọjọ́ 16 sọ́tọ̀ láti Friday 25th of November sí December 10th pé ká fi polongo ká fi la àwọn aráàlú lọ́yẹ̀ wípé ìwà ìpáǹle láwùjọ wa ìwà tí kò dára ni, ìwà tó ń dójú tì ni, ìwà tí ò jẹ́ kí ìdàgbàsókè kó wà láwùjọ wa ni. Àwọn ẹni tí ó bá lo ọmọ tó wà lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ nílòkulò ẹni yẹn èmi rí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹranko, nítorí bí ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó wà lára ẹ̀ ló wà lára ẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ọmọ tó bá ṣe lu ọmọ ọlọ́mọ náà ó ń bọ̀ èrè ẹ̀ ń bọ̀ fọmọ tiẹ̀ náà. Tó bá lu ọmọ ọlọ́mọ dáradára ire á wá ọmọ tiẹ̀ náà rí torí òun wá ire fọ́mọ ọlọ́mọ ni ọlọ́run ó lòun ni bàbá àwọn òrukàn ó ní bàbá fún ẹni tí ò lágbára ó dá lágbára láti dáàbò bo ẹni tí kò lágbára ni kò dá lágbára láti fìyà jẹ ẹni tí kò lágbára ẹni tó bá wá ń fìyà jẹ alágbára tó bá wá ń fìyà jẹ aláìlágbára ọlọ́run á fìyà jẹ irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ kò kí ń ṣe èpè nítorí sákò nílé ayé nǹkan tá a bá ṣe sí ẹlòmíràn ó ń padà bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wa so àwọn ìwà ipá oríṣiríṣi à ń fipá bá ọmọ kékeré lò ó ti wá wọ́pọ̀ láwùjọ wa nítorí pé àwọn kan ti rò wípé tán bá ọmọbìnrin tí ò tí ì bàlágà lò pọ̀ èmi bóyá wọ́n ní àìsàn AIDS wípé yóò sọ àwọn míì ń lò fún ọ̀rọ̀ fún ètùtù ọlà wípé táwọn bá ti bá wọn sùn àwọn á lo ògo wọn nítorí pé wọn ò tí ì mọ ọkùnrin ẹni tó bá pé ntọ́wọ́ mi ò lè tẹ̀ tó fi gọ̀ǹgọ̀ fà kó mọ̀ pé ó ti dí ẹ̀mí ayé tiẹ̀ gan kúrú bó ti dá ẹ̀mí ọmọ yẹn légbodò tó dá lówó tó fi ọgbẹ́ ayérayé sí lọ́kàn torí ẹni tá a bá fipá bá lò pọ̀ ọgbẹ́ ayérayé ni ọ̀pọ̀ nu wọn kò kí ń làájá ìmí nǹkan á ronú títí débi tí ọpọlọ àdàrú á lọ pokùnso mo ti rí ẹni tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ obìnrin gbajúgbajà tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán tí wọ́n ìfipá bá a lò pọ̀ ó ti ní bí ọdún díẹ̀ sẹ́yìn obìnrin yẹn pokùnso ni ọ̀pọ̀ ìgbà tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ wọ́n máa fẹ́ fipá bá àwọn ọmọdé wọ̀nyí lò náà wọ́n tún máa ń ṣe wọ́n léṣe ó ní ọmọ kan tí wọ́n fọ́rí ẹ̀ mọ́ àpáta ní Ìdó Ọ̀ṣun ní ọdún 2020 lérí pé ó fẹ́ fipá bá lò pọ̀ láti fipá bá lò pọ̀ ó fọ́rí ẹ̀ má pàtà ó tún fọ́rí ẹ̀ má pàtà tán ó tún fipá bá lò pọ̀ kò tún dá mọ́ níyẹn ó tún fẹ́ wá gé ẹ̀yà ara ẹ̀ níbi tó ti múra láti tó ti ń wá káàkiri pé kóun tó lọ mọ́ ọ̀bẹ àti àpò tí ó fi gé àwọn ẹ̀yà ara ẹ̀ ní ọwọ́ ti tẹ̀ nínú igbó ṣùgbọ́n nítorí pé a ní ilé ẹjọ́ tá a yà sọ́tọ̀ láti máa gbọ́ irú àwọn ẹjọ́ fi ìwà ìpáǹle sí obìnrin ní àwùjọ wa ẹjọ́ yẹn ó falẹ̀ títí tó fi sú wa àtẹ̀lé títí rò pé ilé ẹjọ́ á ti dànù nítorí ó ti sú ẹni tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí àwa náà tá à ń ṣe agbátẹrù ó sú wa ńgbà tó pẹ́ tá à ń lọ tá à ń bọ̀ ìtorí ìdí èyí nǹkan dáadáa ni wípé a máa ní pé wọ́n máa ní ilé ẹjọ́ tí ó máa dá dúró láti máa gbọ́ irú àwọn ẹjọ́ tó rọ̀ mọ́ ìwà ìpáǹle ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì àdàkà nírú ẹ̀ náà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ní kò pẹ́ ní kò jìnnà mo ń la àkókò yìí láti fi rọ gómìnà wa àti gbogbo àwọn tó wà nílé aṣòfin wa ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa dá ilé ẹjọ́ yìí dúró irú ẹ̀ ti wà ní Èkó ìtorí ẹ̀ nísìn kò sẹ́ni tó lè hùwà ìpáǹle sí obìnrin àbí ọmọbìnrin nílùú Èkó àbọ̀mọdé nílùú Èkó tó máa mú jẹ nítorí pé ìpolongo dẹ̀ ti kárí àwọn èèyàn ti mọ̀ pé ilé ẹjọ́ yìí wà àti ibi àwọn tó dẹ̀ ń mójútó àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ báyìí náà wọ́n pọ̀ ní ìlú Èkó náà ṣe ń pè Èkó ní Center of Excellence àwa táwa jẹ́ ọmọlúàbí gangan tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀dọ̀ wa nílé Ifẹ̀ ní civilization ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ a gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kí tí ṣẹlẹ̀ rí ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ a gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kí ìwà ìbàjẹ́ sí ọmọnìyàn kó gbilẹ̀ ní ọ̀dọ̀ wa a gbọ́dọ̀ gbé gbogbo ìgbésẹ̀ láti rí i pé ìpínlẹ̀ wa òun ló borí ní gbogbo ọ̀nà.
ẹ ṣeun màmá tó ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa torí àkókò wa.
ẹ̀dùn mo fẹ́ fẹnu ba ọ̀rọ̀ dídábẹ́ fọmọbìnrin ara àwọn ìwà ìbàjẹ́ àti àṣìlò ọmọbìnrin ni ẹ má dábẹ́ fún ọmọbìnrin mọ́ òfin wà ẹni tó bá mú tó ń dábẹ́ fún ọmọbìnrin ìjìyà wà fún ní abẹ́ òfin ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun.
ṣùgbọ́n sọ pé tí wọ́n bá dábẹ́ fọmọbìnrin pé yóò máa ṣe kóbokòbó kiri.
irọ́ ni láti má jẹ́ kọ́mọbìnrin ṣe kóbokòbó kiri ó wà lọ́wọ́ bá a ṣe tọ́ ká tọ́ ọmọbìnrin tá a sì tọ́ ọmọkùnrin tá a bá tọ́ ọmọbìnrin pé jókòó kó pa ẹsẹ̀ ẹ̀ pọ̀ tọ́ ọmọkùnrin pé má fà zip ẹ wálẹ̀ o títí tó fi ṣègbéyàwó tó bá fẹ́ ọ̀nà kan ṣoṣo tó fi lè fà zip ẹ wálẹ̀ ni pé o fẹ́ ṣe gá o fẹ́ tọ̀.
ẹ ṣeun mọ̀lá lọ́láwé tó ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa mo rò pé ẹ ti di nǹkan tàbí méjì mú láàrin ìṣẹ́jú pé ti tá a fi sọ Yorùbá lórí ètò yìí lórúkọ àwọn aláṣẹ iléeṣẹ́ yìí la kí Citizen lọ́láwé pé ẹ ṣeun àjíǹde ara ó máa jẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run nígbà míì àtúndé àǹfààní láti rí i lórí ètò yìí. It is on this note that we shall be releasing our first guest on the program, Citizen Lọ́láwé, who has been able to educate us on gender violence and which is being marked by a global organization this time around. Madam, thank you for coming. We do hope to have you on the program again anytime that God wishes. We shall now go on a short musical break before bringing you our next guest on the program.
You and I had something special, baby.